were already a trained pharmacist before coming to Canada.
I came to Canada for my master's actually. I was like looking for public health jobs. I wasn't really getting anything. And then I was like, what about like getting my
And so you finished the master's program, you were on your work permits trying to navigate the workspace.
during one of my placements, it was like in a medicine floor that I realized the first hour that this wasn't for me. I was like,
When we people hear Canada needs health workers or healthcare workers, what do you think they don't fully understand about that reality?
there's this belief that Canada needs healthcare workers, but at the same time, they're not hiring. You just imagine laying off nurses when we're already short. So
So now that you are a mom, how does that transition feel now on the other side of motherhood?
having a community of mothers helps because they will understand you and meet you where you're at.
They say it takes a village to raise children, right? And we are very community oriented and village and grandma and auntie and all these things from where we are. And now we left the village behind. What's that reality like?
Oh my goodness.
Talk about it.
Oh, yeah, it takes a village. But yeah,
Onyeka, welcome to Momversations, as told by Canadian immigrant moms.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, I'm very excited to have you. And I want to jump right in, right? So you were already a trained pharmacist before coming to Canada, right?
Yeah, I know.
And then you got here and realized that the path wasn't all that straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
So help me to like bring us back to that time when you're on your way here. Help me to understand what you thought the transition was going to look like versus and then what did it actually look like.
Okay, so my journey started around the fall of 2018. I came to Canada for my master's actually, um, in public health in the University of Western Ontario. So my master's was for like a year, and afterwards, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I was like, should I practice as a public health practitioner versus a pharmacist? I wasn't sure. I was like, we'll see what the future holds. So after school was done, I was like looking for public health jobs. I wasn't really getting anything. And then I was like, what about like getting my pharmacy license? And then I looked up the process. I was like, boy, this is something like, so to become a Canadian pharmacist, you have to like register with the pharmacy body here in Canada. You have to like write like 3 or 4 exams in the space of like 2 to 3 years. And then you have to like do your internship all over again. So just merely looking at all of that stuff, I felt intimidated, honestly. And I was like, can I do it? So I started focusing on getting a public health job. And somewhere in between, after school, I moved to Vancouver. So I was looking for public health jobs and I found something, but like it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was like a step into the organization. So while I was doing that, COVID hit, but I wasn't getting like the job satisfaction. I was like, is this what I really want to do? And I still wasn't finding public health jobs in the middle of a pandemic. So because a lot of people were being laid off, right? So
Yeah.
I started looking into like getting my license. So I felt really intimidated, like I mentioned earlier, and honestly, I said like I was confiding in a friend. She's actually a nurse. She was like, "Oh, like I know she understands that it was so hard." I was like, "Oh, I wish I was a nurse like you. Like it would be so easy." She was like, "Yeah, you can actually be a nurse. Like there's something called the compress program." I was like, "Wait a second." And then right there in the car, I looked it up. I was like, "Oh shoot!" And then Western, which was the school I attended, actually offered the program, and it was the shortest in the country at that time. So I looked it up, looked at, like, I saw I had all the qualifications. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I could actually give this a shot. So that was the first time I actually considered, like, doing something else outside of my degrees. So I wasn't even exactly sure that's what I wanted. So I just applied to only Western. I was like, if I get in, that's fine. If not, I will focus on my pharmacy degree. And then I had this at the back of my mind that I was gonna look for a community like in the pharmacy field to help me transition because I knew I couldn't do this alone. Like, just I was intimidated. I knew nothing. So I was like, okay, if I didn't get into nursing, I would pursue my pharmacy. So as life will have it, I got into my nursing program. I was like, oh, perfect. So I sort of already knew what I wanted. Like, okay, this worked out, so let me just go for it. So I moved back to London in COVID in the fall again. That's 2 years after my move to Canada. I moved back to London, started schooling in COVID. It was perfect because everything was remote. I only went to
Online.
classes like, yeah, perfect. It was remote, and then I went like twice a week for like maybe 3 hours for like my labs and practicals, and that was it. So I did all of that for 19 months, and then in the spring of 2022, I was done with school, wrote my qualifying exams, and I passed. I started practicing, and that's how pharmacy took a backseat, and then nursing became my career. Yeah, that was like the long and short of everything.
Yeah. And so when you came to Canada, were you an international student?
Yes, I was, because I came for
Okay.
my master's. Yes.
Right. And so when
And
you
then somewhere
finished the
in
masters,
between, yeah, somewhere in between, I became a PR.
oh,
Yeah, somewhere in between. So that's again helped me become a nurse because nursing school was really expensive. It was like probably closer to 100 grand. But like
wow. As an
when I became
international
a
student, you
PR,
mean?
yeah, yeah. So like I recall when I got in, I checked my tuition cost for like the first term, it was like 20 something grand. I was like, oh wow. But like I got my PR somewhere around that time, and I told the school, and then my tuition came down to about 7,000 for that term. So you can see
Nice.
the
Yes.
discrepancy. Yeah.
If you are considering studying in Canada, or you're already in Canada and you're thinking that you need to study a second program and you're thinking, ain't nobody got money for that, financing can be one of the biggest hurdles for deciding to start school in Canada or deciding to study again in Canada. That's why our sponsor Passage provides loans for international students who are coming to study in Canada or who are trying to study again in Canada. But it's not just about money to study for school. They are giving you access to programs, only programs that are directly in line with in-demand occupations here in Canada. We're talking about skills trades, we're talking about healthcare, we're talking about education. Passage does that analysis for you and gives you a catalog of courses in line with in-demand occupations here in Canada. So you can check your eligibility for free right at the link in the description below or up on screen, or you can scan the QR code to check your eligibility for an international student loan from Passage. And so you came, you finished the master's program, you were on your work permits, trying to navigate the
Mm-hmm.
workspace,
Mm-hmm.
and somewhere in between you became, I guess, but that was COVID, so you got you were in either TR to PR or just regular express
Yes.
entry.
So I did regular express entry. Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere in
Okay.
between, like while
Interesting.
working. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm curious. So for somebody who studies public health, as a master's in public health, what does that
Mm-hmm.
career outlook, what should it look like, provided that, what kind of jobs would you look for?
Like for example, it was perfect in COVID, like,
Oh,
chasing infectious diseases, like
okay.
epidemiology and stuff like that.
Ah,
So that career, like you could work anywhere, like in a hospital, like in a health facility, in a clinic. You could go into like research, just like the research portion. So honestly, I would say I was looking, but like the climate at that time wasn't conducive because people were getting laid off. So
ah,
companies weren't hiring.
got
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
Okay, so like circumstantially. Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess you didn't really start the process of trying to practice as a pharmacist, but were you at all concerned about if you would go to transition into pharmacy? Were you concerned if your pharmacy credentials, like the education that you already have in pharmacy, because they have to do an education credential
Hmm.
assessment for that by the
Yeah.
pharmacy board,
Yeah.
right? Were you at all
Hmm.
concerned about them saying not equal or anything like that?
Not really, because I knew like broadly of a few people who went to
Got
like
it.
my school in Nigeria who did the process. So I wasn't really concerned about that. I knew like they were gonna like clear my assessment, so that didn't bother me. Hmm.
Interesting. Okay. And how long is the nursing program?
it was for 19 months, which
Okay.
was really encouraging for me because I was like, I could actually become a full nurse before even finishing my pharmacy exams. I was like, and they're in the same healthcare field. It's not too different. Like I already have the background knowledge. So I was like, it's gonna be an easy transition for me. And it actually was because, for example, in my nursing school, I didn't get to do like pharmacology, like courses regarding medications. I didn't actually do it when my other classmates were doing it because I already had the degree.
Ah,
Yeah. So it was to my
okay.
advantage, actually.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So for you, it was the length of time that it would have taken to
Yeah.
do that versus this, but also the exams. I find I've learned that after a certain point, if you fail, you have to do like a whole like bridging program or something like
Oh, I
that.
wasn't even aware of that. I
I
wasn't
think
even
if you
aware.
fail the second one, I think, or the third,
Mm.
then you have to go take this $15,000 course or something like
Oh,
that.
wow.
Okay, so
Oh,
that
wow.
wasn't a concern for you at the time. You were just
I,
like
I
the
wasn't
process
even aware.
itself.
Yeah, the process just
Yeah,
overwhelmed me. Yeah, that was it
yeah.
majorly.
Ah, interesting. Okay, so now you pursue the path of nursing, and like you said, there was a lot of transfer of knowledge, and even some of the programs or the courses that you'd have done in your pharmacy degree transferred over, so that was helpful.
Hmm.
And now it's, though they are both in healthcare, like correct me if I'm wrong, to me they're very
Hmm.
different.
Hmm.
Right, like the pharmacy, I feel, I don't know, it's less hands-on with people, so now you've kind of,
Yes.
how was that shift for you mentally, or even just
Honestly,
understanding the difference? Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was too much of a shift because back in Nigeria, when I practiced as a pharmacy, I worked at a community pharmacy, like a Shoppers, for example. So I was already like having relationships, but not relationship, but like personal contact with clients or patients. So it wasn't too different. And then luckily, like I said, it wasn't COVID, so I didn't get to do too much in-person stuff. And then when it comes to practicing, because I am a bedside nurse, but like not in the, because I'm in mental health, so I'm not like doing the medical nursing stuff where I'm dealing with like, oh, IV fluids, um,
Okay.
like caring, like nurse, actually nursing a patient. My nursing is actually here. So the
Ah.
mental aspect.
Okay.
Because like you said, I during one of my placements, it was like in a medicine floor that I realized the first hour that this wasn't for me. Like this particular type of nursing wasn't for me. I was like, no, I'm not going to do this because I didn't want that personal nursing one-on-one care. I was like, no, I have to think of something else. And then I discovered mental health. And I'm like, this is perfect for me. Yeah.
Got it.
So my
Got it.
unit is not like a typical medical unit. Yeah.
Ah. Okay. Well, that's
Hmm.
helpful for anybody, because to me,
Hmm.
when you think of nursing, all I'm thinking about are like the
Think of all the
people who
messy
helped me
stuff.
deliver my baby, who were just
Mm.
very hands-on
Yeah,
in your business, all of that. Yeah.
I
Okay.
know.
So no.
That wasn't for
All
me.
right.
No.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, that's helpful. So,
So
and
that
you
was the
made this
thing about
decision.
nursing.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, let me just make this point. That was the thing about nursing. Why I also wanted to make the switch was that nursing was quite broad. There's so much more you can do. You can be a, like an educator. Like you don't even have to work in a hospital setting or anything, right? You can be like a researcher. You can be anything. So I was like, okay, this gives me more opportunities. Whereas pharmacy is sort of restricting, like is either like a community pharmacy, research, or like maybe in a hospital. So I was like, nursing is actually pretty flexible, and my mom's a nurse, so she encouraged me as well.
So just before this call, just before we started the show, you had mentioned that you have work in about 3 hours, or so. I really appreciate you
Yeah,
for the time that you're taking to have this
no
session here.
problem.
But help me to understand what your work schedule is like, and then how that affects the dynamic at home.
Okay. So I work 12-hour shifts. I work 2 day shifts, 2 night shifts, and then 5 days off, which is perfect. It's called a waterfall schedule. It's not your typical Monday to Friday.
Okay.
So when you like, I have been, well, okay. So when you do 2 day shifts, there's a 24-hour gap before your night shift starts, which gives you time to rest and reset, and then your night shift starts. Well, that's what I did before I became a mom. But now I'm a mom and I don't have childcare, and my husband has to watch our baby for like the day shifts, and he's working as well. I have been changing my second day shifts to night, so I have been doing 1 day, 3 nights, and I still get that 24-hour gap between my first day and my first night, so I get to like watch the baby, and then I get 5 days off before my set starts again. Yeah, so it's perfect. Even without a baby, I'm not sure I'm able to do a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are doing with Saturday and Sunday, but I couldn't do it. So even with um the 5 days off previously, like a few years back, I used to pick up shifts elsewhere. Like I used to try to work part-time in my 5 off, but like that was a long time ago. Now I need to spend time with my baby and my husband. So with that, the 5 off really helps because, like I said, I don't have childcare, and then my husband has to work. So I get to watch the baby the entire time. And even when I get back from my night shifts, like right now, in the morning, I watch the baby till then I'll get a few naps in and then go back to work again. That's helpful,
Yes.
and my baby doesn't get to feel the separation anxiety and stuff. But at the same time, he forgets that mommy has to go to work.
Yeah.
So like when the shift starts all over again, he starts to cry because it's like, why are you gone? Because you would expect him to get with the rhythm, like, okay, mommy goes
Yeah.
to work, she'll come back. Like, so I
No.
have to like restart the process most times. But like he's getting better now, but
Yeah.
he forgets. At the end of my
Yeah.
5, like whenever I start my first day shift, he forgets and he cries. And that makes it
Oh.
hard for my husband.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, I love my
Okay.
schedule like this. It's perfect. Especially when you have a child now. Let's say daycare calls you like, oh, he has a fever or something. You can actually just take the entire set off and have 2 weeks off.
Ah,
That's perfect for me. Yeah.
okay. Nice.
Yeah. And then
Nice.
on a good time off, I pick up overtime sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That really got me there. That's okay, it's nice and all, but
But you have to work 12 hours
he had, well, you have to work 12 hours, but also he has to adjust to the separation, and like
every
it's
time.
like, it's almost like the last time you were gone, okay, that was, mommy was just gone for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
and that period has
Mm-hmm.
ended. Now she's
Yeah.
back and
But like
she's here with me
if it was a
forever.
Saturday and Sunday, it's short, he would remember. Yeah.
Yeah,
But 5 days is a long time. He will
it
forget.
is. It's a
Yeah.
vacation. Like, I've gone to places for 5 days before.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah.
Okay,
It's a
well,
perfect
that's
schedule for me.
helpful.
It works. Yeah.
Yeah, there's pros and cons. I think, like you said, nowhere is perfect. Nothing is perfect.
Exactly.
No scenario, no situation.
Exactly.
There is nothing such as perfect on this earth,
Exactly.
anyway.
I know. I know.
Yay, moms! Happy Mother's Day to you and your mom.
I
Um,
know. Thank you as well.
so you made this decision though before becoming a mom, and I think you did just clear up quite a bit, because I know that for the nurses that I know, anyways, they are bedside. They're working in the hospital, so they are in the field, like hands on in
Mm-hmm.
that context, which I know can be long shifts and such. Maybe these are
Mm-hmm.
long shifts, so we'll talk about that anyways. But you
Yeah.
made this decision to change career before becoming a mom. So now that you are a mom, how
Mm-hmm.
does that transition feel now on the other side of motherhood for you?
Honestly, I'm actually happy I made that transition at the time that I did before becoming a mom, because that would have been so hard, like being in school full time and having to deal with a kid, you know. But looking back now, like I said, I'm grateful I did that at that time. So right now, being a new mom and having to work long shifts, like my shifts are 12 hours, and I'm gone like what, 13 hours, because you have to show up earlier, and then before you drive back home, you're gone 13 hours. Honestly, because I don't know if people are aware, I went back to work like 2 months ago before my mat leave ended. I had the mom guilt. It was really hard, but right now I think I'm getting a hang of it. Like it's sort of okay. But like, I also don't have childcare, and I'm lucky enough to have a husband who works 100% from home. So I leave my child with my husband on my day shifts. So he just like powers through it and looks after the child. And then on my nights, he looks after the baby in the evening till he goes to bed and he's asleep all night. And when I come back from work, I'm sleep deprived, but I have to like care for my baby because it's my turn now because he has to work. So that's really difficult. It's really, really difficult. And that's the part like I'm struggling with. And then even my
Yeah.
child even having to deal with me gone that long, and especially with the fact that I'm also still nursing my child. So it's a whole lot. Yeah, but like every day I'm just trying to find ways to like get through it.
Yeah. And you just mentioned that you went back to work early, so
Hmm.
you went back before your mat leave would have finished.
Yes, I went back two
Help us
months
to
earlier.
help us to understand that, because in episode 1 I did share my momversation, and I kind of pointed out a
Hmm.
reality that I'm grateful. We are grateful, right? So we don't want
Yeah,
anybody to misunderstand that we are grateful
yeah,
that there is the opportunity to have paid maternity leave here in Canada for
absolutely.
12 months to 18
I
months.
know.
However, it's 55% of your pay unless. So I spoke about that in episode 1, but I want you to touch on that and what
Okay.
drove the decision, like what the reality versus expectation of maternity leave
Hmm.
pay, and the
Okay.
decision that drove you to going back early.
So, I took the 12 months maternity leave, which was perfect. Like, I wish I could do 18 months, but like thinking about the pay, yeah, I'll get into that shortly. So, luckily for me, where I work, they top you up until 80% of your pay for the first 6 months, which was
Ah.
fine, right? It was fine. And then after 6 months, like reality hits, and then you're left with only EI. And those of you who have like received EI, you know how it can be. And given that you already have bills to pay, and then the economy is not helping things at all. So I just saw like things were getting like more expensive. I have a child now, there's more bills to pay. My the pay I was receiving like from the government wasn't cutting it, like it wasn't enough. And like I said, I was grateful to even have EI in the first place. Right? Because where I come from, Nigeria, it's only 3 months and
Yeah.
that's it. So even to be able to like stay 10 months with my child was a blessing. But like things just got really expensive. I had bills to pay. We had like future things to plan for, and it only made sense for me to go back earlier than planned. And then I just had to make the sacrifice, right? Like, well, not just me and my husband, we had to make the sacrifice because we have things we're planning for in the future, and that just being in my EI pay wasn't going to help. And
Yeah.
surprisingly, I even stretched it like up until 10 months because I was actually considering going back like maybe 2 months into my EI pay. That's like 8 months.
8 months.
So I was like, let me see how I can power through. I just kept pushing and pushing. And then in like 10 months in, I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. I have to go back. I need to earn like my regular pay. So yeah, here I am back to work.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, my mat leave will have ended the day after tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you talk about the guilt. I want you to touch a little bit on that. Like part of the theme here is they say it takes a village to raise children, right? And we are
Mm-hmm,
very
mm-hmm.
community oriented and village and grandma and auntie and all these things from where we are.
Yeah.
And now we left
Mm-hmm.
the village behind. What's that reality like?
Oh my goodness.
Talk about it.
Oh, yeah, it takes a village. But yeah, I don't have a village here. It's just me and my husband, like, and a few friends dealing with their own personal stuff. And then I
Yeah.
have family in like cities 2 hours away. So I don't have like that, oh, can you help me watch my child right now? I don't have that. Or someone I can like 100% trust. I don't have that. So it's really hard, like just making decisions, like for example, even going back to work, like it's really hard dealing with all of that. And I really, really wished I had that community, that support system around, like just at the tip of my fingers. Like I could just call this person or drive here, drop my child, or even help someone watch their kids. Like I don't have that. But whereas if I was living like maybe back home, oh, there are tons of help, right? There's family members everywhere without even having to think. But at the same time, I'm grateful for where I'm at But these are like the
The
trade-offs for like
trade-offs.
immigrating. Yeah. hmm
Yeah. And when you had your baby, did anybody from your family, were they able to come? Were they able to
Oh
at
yeah.
least, yeah? How was that?
Yes. So when I was pregnant, right before I had my baby, so we had to plan all of that. Like, my mom, she's still working, she's still a nurse. I had to like tell her like, okay, this is my due date. When are you able to take time off of work to come care for me and the baby because I'm still your baby and all of that. So my mom and dad eventually came, and I have a
Yes.
sister who lives like 2 hours away. She was coming like on her weekends to like just be around family as well and to like support. So I had my mom here for like 5 weeks. Yeah, for 5 weeks. And after that, it was just me and my husband. But like, I was grateful to have her at the beginning, like that newborn phase where I'm still like navigating like how to care for a child, how to keep a child alive. So I had that. And afterwards, my sister kept coming on the weekends to like support. But now we have a hang of things. So I'm good.
That's good. That's good.
hmm
What makes you not live where your sister lives? In terms of not the same house, but like in the same city, or
Yeah.
what makes you be 2 hours away?
Honestly, okay, she lives in Mississauga, like she's working there. I live in London. So why I stayed back in London was for school. Like, well, after school, I stayed back. I just got a job here. My husband works 100% remote, so he could actually leave wherever he wanted to leave. So we just stayed here. Like London was a pretty family-oriented city. Like it's not too small, it's not too big. Like there's a nice neighborhood. So we just decided to stay here away from like the hustle and bustle of the GTA. But like I'm not saying it's gonna be like this forever. Like never say never. Things may change. I may move closer to like the GTA. So yeah, it is what it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I want to kind of go back to what you kind of mentioned at the beginning about trying to break into the job market. I know that things have changed now because there's no more COVID, there's no more pandemic, right? Things are different now. But
Mm-hmm.
when we people hear Canada needs health workers or healthcare workers, what do you think they don't fully understand about that reality based on your experience, even though that you had to go find a work in healthcare and nursing?
Honestly, I would say I'm not sure what's going on because there's this belief that Canada needs healthcare workers, but at the same time, they're not hiring. Because this is new information for me right now is that London, the city where I live, has the highest unemployment rate in the country. I'm like,
Really?
what? Yes, I just discovered that. And then in Ontario, they're laying off nurses. And then where I work, they're about to lay off about 280 nursing positions.
Really?
I'm like, yeah, this came out like 2 weeks ago. I'm like, what? And then you just imagine laying off nurses when we're already short. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. And then the immigration side is still bringing in healthcare workers. And then hospitals are laying off because they don't have the money. I'm like, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Like there's this belief that healthcare workers are needed, but hospitals are not hiring. Even new grads are finding it hard to get a job. So I'm not sure what's happening, but there's gonna be like this crazy weight of like unemployed people. So it's I don't know. It's it's crazy right now. So like if you have a job, just hold on to that job and be grateful for that job. Because right now it's very hard to get a job. hmm
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. And for, I don't know if you have colleagues or friends who did pursue the path of pharmacy, because you said that you do know a few people who may have
I know a
gotten the
few
same
people.
education.
Yeah.
What's that
hmm
space like that you know of?
Um, I have one who's actively, like a friend who's actively in that space. She just moved from Nigeria last year. She's reading
Okay.
like the first exam. Luckily, she passed it. She's studying for the second one. She found a community where like they do like group studying, like group sessions and all of that. She's like for her, it's going faster than she envisioned, and it's tough for sure because like she talks to me, she tells me like how hard it is. Like if only she could have just done her pharmacy degree here to just avoid all of
Yeah.
that hectic process. It's for sure it's hard. And then the other person who I know like did this a few years back, she's already practicing, like she's enjoying like being a pharmacist. I know her experience was like it's really hard. It's not a child's play. Like you have to, it's sort of like going back to study everything you did like from years and years ago and having to remember it in just one exam. So it was really hard. I remember her studying. I was like, bro. Then I was still in Nigeria. I hadn't even come here. I was like, oh my God, this is so hard. And yeah, so if you're watching this video and you're thinking of pursuing the pharmacy process, I just want you to know like it's not an easy process, but like I'm pretty sure you can do it if you put your mind to it. Yeah.
And we did have a guest previously on. She's in pharmacy and she did do the exam. She failed the exam, the first exam
Hmm.
twice, then passed, but then she did, give us her lessons learned. So you can go check that
Yeah.
episode out. We'll link it down
Yeah. Yeah.
below.
I will for sure. Hmm.
Yeah, and you just mentioned like if you were to pursue, you would have found a community. Your friend who
Yeah.
is pursuing has found a community
Found a community.
because
Yeah.
mentorship, I think, goes a long way for
Yeah. It
actually
does.
exam techniques and accountability
Yeah.
because people have work, people have life to live, and now they're
Hmm.
having to study for this exam and all of that stuff. So accountability, I think, is a
Yeah.
key element.
But what's funny was that when I was studying for my nursing exams, I didn't have a community. It was just something I did on my
Yeah.
own. Like maybe I just spoke to like one or two people, and that was it. I do believe the nursing aspect is easier than the pharmacy one. I do believe it's easier because I think the pharmacy one they're a lot stricter because they want to be sure like you qualified, like you get the Canadian experience, right? So I believe it's stricter for pharmacists. Hmm.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Um, if there's one thing, this is my signature question. It is one
Hmm.
thing that you wish you knew. I'm going to ask you in two different ways. I'm going to ask you it twice,
Okay.
but from two different angles. One thing you wish you knew before coming to Canada.
One, I would say it's not a bed of roses, like people paint out to be like, oh, Canada is like the dreamland. It's not. Canada does have its own challenges. Like, for example, finding a job. Like, I had this idea that, oh, after school, just find a job. Bruh, was I? It's not. It's hard. It's hard everywhere. Don't think Canada is easier. It's hard, especially with an international experience. It's even harder. So you need to get the local experience, which school sort of helps you with that. But people who come direct with like express entry, it's a lot harder to break into job market.
Right.
So I was met with a rude awakening that it's very hard to get a job. It is. And I know some people 1 year, 2 years, they still haven't gotten the kind of job they want. Like they just have to settle for like minimum wage jobs and stuff. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the same question from the angle of motherhood. What one thing that you wish you knew before becoming a mom in Canada as an immigrant mom?
I would say having a community of mothers helps because they will understand you and meet you where you're at. Having a community of that and getting on the daycare wait list early. Yeah, I would.
Actually, let's talk about that a little bit, right? Because I feel like even I
Yeah.
underestimated that, and I've been in Canada, right? I
Oh,
had
oh yeah.
I've I was here. I want to say 6 years, 6 or 7 years before
Mm-hmm.
becoming a mom, right? But because
Mm-hmm.
these things are not part of my reality, I don't. It's not like
Exactly.
something that I think about.
It's like a whole
So
new
right now, you
world.
said you don't have childcare, and you just talk
Yeah.
about the wait list. So tell me what your experience has been like with this.
So I remember people just talking about like, oh, the daycare wait list is long. I wasn't a mom. I wasn't really like you said, it wasn't my problem at that time. So when I found out I was pregnant, like a few friends who had kids before me were like, "Oh, you need to get on the wait list." So I got on the wait list, when I was 5 weeks pregnant. And what my child is one, nothing yet. Yeah,
Are you
I was
serious? For
five
your
weeks
five
pregnant. Yeah,
weeks?
yeah. And again, I think it's also location based. Like, because I knew someone who moved from Nigeria, she got childcare immediately, but she's in Mississauga. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing London has it really bad. It's really
Okay.
bad. Even with like getting an ultrasound location, I had to go out of London a few times because I couldn't get
Ah,
like an appointment within a specific period, like in my first trimester or something. I had to go to like Toronto for an ultrasound.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because there's just something about London, I'm not sure. Everything is booked up. So yeah, I'm still on the wait list. I went back to one daycare who reached out to me when my child was like 2 months old, asking like if I could come out. Like, no, my child's too young. So I went back there recently just to like see if they had something. I was number 193 on the list. Yeah, it's that
Okay.
bad.
Interesting. Interesting. And like you said, it could be location based, so that's extremely helpful because I
Mm-hmm.
never, I've never had to think about that even.
Yeah.
I did get childcare relatively quickly, but when I did, the places that people recommended, like the good places, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
had a wait list, and so I was just left to choose whatever, and it actually didn't work out. I had to pull my daughter out in like 2 weeks, two
Mm-hmm.
weeks of her being there, and then I
Mm-hmm.
found somewhere good. But that's a helpful note. And I think London is considered a little bit rural Ontario. And so,
Mm-hmm.
based on the population size and the number of services that are there,
Yeah.
that could be
There's not enough
the
services.
math.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the
So like
math
if
ain't
you're in the
mathing.
GTA, I feel like it may be easier, maybe. But like if
Maybe.
you're in places like London, St. Thomas, it might be harder. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so food for
Mm-hmm.
thought when you're thinking about what city to choose and where to
Mm-hmm.
live. Look up things like that, especially if you're coming with
Yeah. Like the
kids.
wait times, like
Yes.
how long it's gonna take. Yeah. So that's something you need to know before you have your child. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. If there's something like you said, like a community of moms, immigrant moms who get it, is helpful for this journey. For a mom that is watching this that maybe doesn't have community, is there one thing that you would say to them to meet them wherever they're at to give them a word of encouragement?
Um, I would say, Mama, you got this. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just take it one day at a time. You're doing it right. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're just being a mom. This is your first time. Just keep doing what you're doing, and it will get better. As your kids get older, it will get better. That's what I can say. Yeah.
Awesome. And for processing the guilt or getting through that guilt that you said that you were feeling, is there anything specific that helped you, or is it just time?
I think time and just telling myself like he's with a trusted person, with his dad, helped. Because my child is not in daycare yet. I was like, okay, if you're feeling this worried with the dad, how would you feel when your child gets into daycare with strangers? I'm like, okay, I have to be strong. I have to power through this. So I just had to prepare myself. Well, I'm still preparing myself for when he gets into childcare because I'm gonna be like really worried because I've never had someone else watch my child, like me being gone and someone else watch my child other than me or my husband. Yeah. So that's something I'm still gonna have to face. So I just had to like brace up and tell myself it has to happen. Hmm. But like I'm not feeling as bad as I was from the first time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So time. It's new. You know what I mean? The
Yep.
experience is new. And
Hmm.
yeah, you just have to process that. And I feel like maybe a lot of moms can resonate. Absolutely. I felt that guilt too. And my daughter didn't go to daycare until she was 2.5 because I had a
Oh
COVID
my God.
baby, right?
Mm.
So for
So
a
you were like
while, there was no
attached.
daycare. Like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it gets better. It gets better. And I think over time, you'll find that childcare where you get to know the the teachers or the early childhood educators or whatever they are, and you get to know them, and become more comfortable
More people.
with them over time and develop some degree of trust. So if that's
Yeah.
any consolation that I can offer,
Consolation.
that's what it was.
Yeah, well, I'll take that into mind, yeah,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
that's
Well,
gonna be
you've
me
been,
soon. Yeah,
it is, and it's gonna be
yeah.
okay. Yeah.
I think so. Glad to
Well,
hear.
you've been an amazing, amazing guest. I appreciate you for breaking that down and even being vulnerable with it. Um,
My
I,
pleasure.
it's super. It's like, and it's gonna help a lot of moms too, because I think there's a
Mm,
lot of things that we can relate, and then there's that nice little seasoning of immigration on top of our lives that
yep.
makes everything
Mm-hmm.
just more.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's my pleasure.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on my social media. My YouTube channel is Onyeka Samaka, and same with my Instagram. If you search up my name, that's all my socials. Yeah, you can find me there and follow me. And
Absolutely.
subscribe to my channel as well. Yeah.
Yes, follow, subscribe, and maybe we'll do a Momversation check-in. We'll check in with
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
Momversation moms.
Yeah. In a few
How's it
months,
going?
exactly. Mhm.
In a certain amount
Looking
of
forward to
months. All
that.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you liked this episode and you found value from watching this, can you please
Mm.
hit that like button and share it
Like
with
button.
one other mom or immigrant parent? I
Mom.
know that the dads, they have their own journey and their unique journey too. We're not leaving you out, dads. Don't worry, your time is coming.
Yeah.
Dadversations doesn't roll off the tongue as easy, but we'll find something for you
Yeah.
guys, dads. Subscribe to Onyeka's channel and to her on As Told by Kenyan Immigrants, and I will see you in the next video. You can continue watching the whole Momversation series right here to tune into honest conversations about motherhood and that whole layer of immigration that makes motherhood so much more identity, immigration, and starting over here in Canada.